Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Pawn Pro Pod. I am super excited to have Andrew Clapp on with us today. Hello, thank you for joining.
It's awesome. Can't wait to get into it.
Let's start with who you are, where you're from, and how you got in this industry.
All right, easy. My name is Andrew. I work in Hampton, Virginia, so we're over here on the East Coast, and got into it after I got out of the Marine Corps, and I was looking for a job, and my wife found this job on Indeed as the gun shop manager, and eventually I kind of took over as the manager of the whole operations in the pawn side, and fell in love with it. So I've been here for 5 years.
That's amazing. And what's your favorite part about being in the pawn industry?
There's a lot. I
Yeah.
don't know if anyone can knock it down to one single thing, but every day is completely different. You don't know what or who's going to walk through the front door, and you get to help a whole lot of different people. So it's great.
Any people or things that have made an impact on you in the last few weeks, let's call it, that really stand out in your memory?
Few weeks. Not not exactly sure. I can really narrow it down.
Yeah.
Again, every day we've got great customers that come in all the time, and there's one in particular. He's going through some cancer right now, so he's in all the time. And even though he's going through a really hard time, and his whole life is falling apart, the only thing he's got on his face is a smile when he comes in. So it's really great to see him every time he comes in, and he's just like, oh, hey, how's my family doing? So,
That makes me want to cry. That's magical.
yeah, no,
What
it's
kind
great.
of what kind of challenges do you see in the industry right now?
The challenges are what I see is a lot of people. The loan balances are going up pretty fast, and just getting the cash flow is slightly challenging. Just keeping the wheel turning as best you can, as fast as you can, as efficiently as you can. So right now, that's the big thing I see in the industry.
And how do you guys do that?
We do a mix of sales, and we really focus a lot on sales to help keep it going, and our loan efficiency, and getting payments in and calling people, and but we're doing pretty well.
Making the money work.
Making the money work.
What kinds of things do you guys do in your store to help promote sales? Especially right now with just so much money going out the door, how do you put effort into your retail side of the business?
I think a big thing is having good prices, and a lot of people focus really hard on profit margin, and
Yeah.
I don't think it's 100%, profit margin. I have to make this much on a certain item. I think promoting, having the best prices around will get more people into your store, get those repeat customers, those repeat sales, and competing with the industry is key. I like to, it's turn and burn over, sit and wait. So getting people in with great sales. We do a tax-free Tuesday, so our members can come in every Tuesday and they can purchase something tax-free, which a lot of people really take advantage of. They really like
That's a big
that.
deal.
Big deal.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
cool.
just basically in Virginia, it's a 6% discount, so it's not huge, but people do like it, and they tend to come in a lot to, hey, it's tax-free Tuesday, I've got to buy something. And we also have a range attached to our building, so we do a lot with the range and offer range memberships. And if you buy a firearm, you get seven free range visits. So a lot of people like that as well.
That's cool. I've heard about like tax-free weekends and tax-free like days once a year and stuff like that, but I've never heard of anybody doing that. My coffee shop offers 2 for Tuesday bag of coffees, and I only go there on Tuesdays because I'm like, so I feel like a weekly recurring thing.
Yeah,
If they had
it
that,
is
at a
Tuesday.
store where I could get a discount every week, I would go there.
Yeah, it is Tuesday because that's typically a business's slowest day. So if I can get people in on my slowest day, that's when I can handle the most, and you know,
That's
gets
such
people
a
in.
good nugget of information for like tax-free Tuesdays. That's an awesome takeaway.
It works.
How big is your guys' store? How many like employees do you guys have?
Right now we're under 10. I think we're at 8 right now, so we're small, but all the employees work super hard. We've got a jeweler part time on staff, so she comes in Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So she's turning and burning on those 3 days. We've got 2 loan associates, and they handle a whole lot just by themselves. So I think it's really important to get the processes down to the point where each transaction is as efficient as it can be. So
Yeah,
each employee can handle as many transactions as possible. So you don't need 15, 20 employees to handle the same as 2, 3, or 4 employees.
totally. And what would you say your guys' culture is like there, and how do you keep your employees like happy and satisfied while still, keeping them very busy? Sometimes busy is better than being bored, but how do you do
Busy
that?
is always better than being bored.
Yeah,
But I think pay. No one has a job without the pay. I
yeah,
think competitive pay is huge. So we pay very well, and people get scared with high pay, especially in our industry. But turnover rate is also very scary for me, and having to always train a new employee all the time because they found something better, when I can keep a fantastic person long term. And so all of our employees have been with us for well over a year.
that's amazing. I think about that too a lot. And for software companies, it's pretty well documented what employee turnover costs. And it's like $80,000 per employee by the time you compile
Yeah.
like all of the training and admin. And for us, we go into new states and then filing taxes in new states and all of the different things. Um, I think that that's a really good call out because it's probably more expensive at the end of the day when you have turnover happening frequently than just paying your employees competitively and keeping them. So much better that way.
Yeah.
And the loyalty
Yeah.
is like amazing. You treat your customers better. So it's
hmm
probably even like
Well, yeah.
undocumented how good it is.
Yeah. And we pay high hourly, and we also pay commission, which is also not standard. But if you incentivize what you want, which is sales or people getting their customers back in, then that's what you'll get. So in the end, when the company wins, the employees win as well.
Let's talk about commission plans a little bit because I think that you're exactly right. You can drive behavior with commission plans. So, do you change your
hmm
commission plans based on, and what are some of the things you just mentioned too? Bringing back customers into the store would be really good behavior to drive. What other kinds of behaviors do you try to drive for your employees, and how do you comp them appropriately for those initiatives?
Yeah. We keep it really simple. I'm a big believer in KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Um,
Yep.
so it's 3% across the board. So all sales are 3% and all loans are 3%. So the profit on the loan, the employee gets 3%. And I think that's important because if you can drive the customer to pick up their item, so you have a very low default rate, then not only does that item come back to you when they reloan it again, and you don't have to sell it to someone else, but the store makes the money.
Yeah.
And so if you keep it simple, 3% for loan profit and 3% on all sales, and it's worked out really well. Our employees love it. So
Yeah, and then they can, I guess they're not limited, right, in the transaction types that they want to do versus, they're not like cherry
exactly,
picking
exactly.
types of transactions. Talking about how you bring customers back into your store, like driving repeatability, how do you do that effectively in your store?
I Again, I think offering good discounts gets people back in the store. Friendly staff gets people back in the store, And we do a lot of advertising on Facebook. I think it's the most, and what I've seen is the most effective advertising because I can be so targeted with it. And it really drives, like, I can promote sales. We'll have 50% off on jewelry, and that gets people back in the stores. Oh, when are you doing 50% off next? Oh, well, I'll do it right now if you buy something. But
Yeah. You're here,
it
aren't
gets
you?
people back in the store.
Yeah. So how did you become good at Facebook advertising, and any takeaways on how somebody might be able to start doing that?
You get good by doing it and finding stuff that works and looking at the analytics that come from it. And Facebook gives you a lot of great information. So, how many views you've gotten on that ad, how many people have clicked it, and just trying different combinations of pictures and words and stuff like that, and looking for keywords that you want people to focus in on, and where do you place that in the ad. It really is trial and error, and I think it's based off of where you are and the culture of that area. And if you really kind of just play around with it and just put out a whole bunch of ads, it's not really expensive. You can spend $5 a day on ads and really target certain people. And when it does really well, you kind of focus on, okay, why did that ad do really well? Well, I had a really great graphic in there, so let me make sure all my ads are heavily graphics. Oh, this ad didn't do really well, probably because there's too many words in it, or I had not enough words, so people didn't understand what it was for. So really, it really comes down to trial and error in your location.
Curiosity is basically
Mm.
how you're doing that. Any other kinds
Yeah.
of things that you've been curious about and tried that worked beyond Facebook advertising?
Bravo text messaging is key, and if no one's using it, use it.
Yeah, text messaging is gold. Um, I think that that's
Works every
really
time.
important because it works every time. I think it's really important because a lot of people that I talk to are just scared to try. And even with Bravo text messaging or with something like Facebook ads, it feels like such a huge risk. But $5 a day is not a huge risk. And you can,
Yeah.
use criteria in Bravo to spend $5 a day on text messaging too. Like,
Hmm.
it's worth it. And then if you're curious about what works and what doesn't work, then your $5 goes a lot further every single day that you improve. You just have to be curious in that. And I think that the barrier to entry is actually much lower than people think it is. Like, you don't
It
have to be
is.
spending a ton of money to get this stuff to work.
And I think it's also important that people understand that you don't just get better by winning, you get better by losing as well, because you can learn what doesn't work. And I always go back to Thomas Edison tried 100 different combinations before he got the light bulb. Well, the 100 different combinations weren't
Yeah.
a loss, they were a learning curve to get the light bulb. And so if you really kind of focus on that and, okay, I lost, but why? And then do better the next time. And that $5, yeah, you didn't get $5 back, but you got $5 in knowledge.
Yeah. I love that. What other good business philosophies do you have that you lean into like that? I think that's a really good one.
Huge one that I strive for every day is if you just treat people the way you want to be treated, then
Mhm.
you'll get anywhere you want to go. And that's not only employees, but customers as well. So if a customer comes in the store upset, okay, let me put myself in their shoes. How would I want to be treated? And if you treat them like that, it turns out really well. And we get great reviews on Google, and they're natural reviews. We're not pushing reviews. It's people that were amazingly happy when they left, and they couldn't help but put their review on Google. I'm not having to ask everyone, hey, can you please review us? It's unnatural. All of our reviews are
Yeah.
natural. They're response because of how we treated everyone, and it does really well.
That is awesome. I think that's such like a simple, almost like cliche thing to say, but in a pawn shop that goes so far, and it's not actually done by a lot of pawnbrokers. And I think
Hmm.
it's just empathy. How do you train employees to also do that or feel that or approach customers and each other that way?
I think it's really hard to train, if not impossible, because it has to be built into you.
Yeah.
And that goes down to hiring and picking people that that already live that. Because if they already live that, it comes so naturally. It's not forced, and people can see if it's forced or not. People can look right through
Totally.
you. You know, if I'm
Yeah.
forcing a smile, everyone knows I'm forcing a smile, and it's like, okay, that guy's fake. So if you hire people that are naturally empathetic and naturally just want to treat everyone just amazing, then everything else is just telling them how to work the computer, telling them how to test the gold, telling them how
Yeah. Yeah.
everything after that is
The hard, like
knowledge.
those skills. It's not the soft skills. The soft skills are hard to train on. How do you interview for those
Hmm.
kinds of things? Like when somebody comes in, is there a certain question that you ask or a situation that you sort of give them as an example? Like, say this happens in the store, what do you do? Or is it just a feeling that you get when you talk to people?
A big thing, I think, it's a feeling. We can
Yeah.
all we're humans. We can connect or not connect. And I think a big question that a lot of people miss on interviews is, what is the ideal company culture? And because not only are we trying to find a great match, they're trying to find a great match as well. And if they describe a company culture as, oh, I just want to have fun, I just want to laugh a lot and just enjoy my job. I want people to be supportive. Now it starts to fall into place. Okay, they're probably going to be really really happy. They're again empathetic. They're going to
Hmm.
smile a lot. They just want to have a good time. And when our employees
They
have a good time,
care.
customers have a good time. Yeah, and care.
Yeah. Yeah, I think caring about where you come into work. When we interview people and when I interview people that are specifically on the exec team, half the interview for me is just, is this somebody that I want to be on a Teams with every single day, all day long? Like, can I
Yeah,
be, or am I ready to like slam my laptop top shut till Monday kind of thing? Like, how do I
yeah,
interact with this person on an interview? Especially when everything for me is behind a screen, I want to be able to enjoy coming and sitting behind my desk every day for however many hours I work. And it's hard to find that on
exactly.
a screen, like
Hmm.
you're, but you can pick it out immediately. Like for me, it's feeling.
Yeah.
There's questions, experience, situations. How have you done this in the past? But
Hmm.
for me, it also comes down to a feeling. Like, do you care about the place that you work? Are you looking to come here to like, you know, build something, build culture, or are you just kind of gonna pull from it? And I think that
Yeah.
it's natural in somebody, and you can feel it, and it's important to like listen
Very
to your
much
gut
is
on those
exactly.
things.
100% agree.
Um, let's talk about other team building things. So, you talked about your commission plan being pretty simple. Are there spiffs that you run or other things that you do um, in addition to just hiring good people that are driven to get people excited about what they're doing?
Now, I do not run spiffs. I don't think they work. Again, I think it drives fake behavior, and I want to
Yeah,
drive real behavior.
yeah,
I'll incentivize you to sell. I'll incentivize you to get the loan in. I'll incentivize you to get the person back in and make the payment 100%. But I'm not going to incentivize you to naturally want to do such a good job they're going to leave a review.
yeah.
I,
To do
I I
your
really
job.
think it drives that fakeness. If you genuinely
Yeah,
care, you won't care about $5 for a Google review. You'll get $5
right.
when you get them in here to make the pawn or make the sale.
Yeah, I love that. Um, You were in the industry, new in the industry 5 years ago. What would you tell somebody that's new in the industry today? What kind of advice would you have for them?
There's a lot of information really fast, so just take it all in. And I learn stuff every day, and if you don't, then you're doing it wrong. So if you just strive to learn something new and strive to become better at something, then you'll catch on real quick. It's not hard. It really is not hard. It's just a little bit of knowledge here and there, and it adds up very quickly.
I think my biggest takeaway from meeting with you is just like how far curiosity goes, right? Like that's we've touched on it a handful of times in things that you do, but being curious really matters, and like that's how you grow, and that's how you become better. And I learn something new every day too. It's probably my favorite part about what I do is that there's always
Hmm.
something new. And if there ever wasn't, I think that that would be boring for me. And if there's, if nothing's going wrong, it's because I'm not curious enough. Like something's going wrong somewhere. We're not
Yeah.
perfect. So it's like, I just have to get curious enough to figure out where it is. But that's what makes you better. And so
Hmm.
it sounds like you've got that same mentality. And I, I really admire that.
Oh yeah, I love to learn. If you're not learning, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. That's going to be your like caption for the podcast.
There you
Well, I
go.
really appreciate your time. It was awesome having you
Yeah.
on. There were so many quick hitter takeaways, and so that's the goal of this podcast is just to give people small actions that they can take to make work a little bit more fun or profitable, or be able to turn around a situation that they're having a hard time figuring out how to solve. So I really appreciate you
Hmm.
being on. Thank you so much.
It's fun. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks.